How's it going? And welcome to my review of Godzilla 2, King of the Monsters. So this film was directed by Michael Dougherty and it stars a whole ton of people including Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, Millie Bobby Brown, Ken Watanabe, Charles Dance. There's a huge bunch of people in this film who are really great actors. So this is the third film in the so-called Monsterverse that started with Godzilla back in 2014 and then continued on with Kong Skull Island. Now we've got Godzilla King of the Monsters, and coming up next is Kong vs. Godzilla, or Godzilla vs. Kong, or whatever it's called. At this point, I just don't care anymore. Because honestly, this film sucked. Oh god, it was so bad. Like, I'd heard bad reviews. I'd heard nothing but bad reviews about this film, from fellow YouTubers, the big YouTubers like Chris Stuckman, Jeremy Jahns. Pretty much everybody has criticized this film and said that aside from the spectacle, it offered absolutely nothing in the way of any sort of interesting characters. The characters made the film boring, etc. And I honestly kind of felt I could probably review this film without even seeing the film, but to be honest, if I had actually done that, I probably would have praised it a little more than what I'm about to do. Because yeah, this film was terrible, honestly. For a so-called action film, I nearly fell asleep during one of the action scenes in this film. Now look, I love Godzilla. Ever since I was a kid, I have adored the, character, if you will, of Godzilla. One of the first things you notice when you walk into my house is a diorama I've been building on my coffee table of Godzilla versus a bunch of Gundam robots in the middle of a downtown Central Park area or something. And I didn't mind the 2014 Godzilla. I thought it was, it was pretty good. Kong Skull Island I really enjoyed. And yeah, so I kind of thought, well, this one at best should be okay. But boy, was I wrong. Look, so the basic story of this film, the people have come up with this device called an orca, which can pretty much render the monsters docile. So Godzilla's doing his thing. He hasn't been seen for a while. Then you got this giant three-headed Hydra sort of a creature called Ghidorah, who is apparently the reigning king of the monsters. And Ghidorah's trying to bring all the other monsters to life. But then you got these bad guys who want the orca and they want to bring the monsters to life. And there's a character who basically wants to do a Thanos kind of a thing, bring the monsters out to the surface to wipe out humanity, and because humans are crap, especially the ones who made this movie. And so Godzilla's got to beat the monsters up and be King of the Monsters. So in terms of things that I did like about this film, this will be a short list. Look, the monsters did look great. There's no denying that. They looked fantastic. The scale of them was absolutely massive and huge. I don't know, their personalities, I guess, look kind of cool. You got Godzilla. Like I said, there's King Ghidorah. Mothra is in this film, and she was absolutely amazing. Then sort of a birdie type thing called Rodan, who was okay. And the fight scenes with them were awesome. But the big problem I had with the monster fights is that quite often they were in the dark or they were in heavy rain or whatever, and you couldn't really tell what was going on half the time. But, some people are saying, it's hard to criticize this film because, all I want to see is 2 hours of monsters fighting monsters. You don't really get that. There's not a lot of monster fights in this film. Like, I thought, as far as the boring character stuff, that far outweighed what we actually got to see of monsters duking it out. Some of the cinematography was actually quite outstanding. There were some shots in particular that were just jaw-dropping, but they were just too few and far between to actually make the movie any good. At 2 hours and 11 minutes, this film went way too long. Actually, realistically, that's all I liked about the film. The monsters look good. So as far as the bad stuff, look, like I said, this film is boring as hell. The character stuff was so mind-numbingly tedious to sit through. Aside from the fact that they weren't even really characters, they were just these people we didn't care about. We didn't really know that much about them. They were just there to deliver exposition and, drive the wafer-thin plot along. I honestly thought Millie Bobby Brown was probably going to be a standout performer because, she's really good, but to be honest, she was just as boring as everyone else. The dialogue was absolutely atrocious. It was kind of like they got maybe a 6-year-old kid to come out with some really cool lines, and they left them in the script. But the main thing is, I just didn't care about a single person in this film. Like, yeah, seriously, not one of them. I couldn't tell you what any characters' names were. I couldn't really get behind them in any sort of way. So, you know, I mean, obviously people are going to die in this film, but, you know, so when that happens, I thought the score by Bear McCreary was overwhelming in parts. Like, there were just some scenes that didn't need music, but it had it, and it was really kind of overpowering. And yeah, the score overall, yeah, wasn't a fan of. But yeah, look, just overall, there's just nothing in this film. It's, you know, very much a case of style over substance, but even then, the style wasn't that great. Obviously, it does leave the end open for Kong versus Godzilla, or whatever it's called. Yeah, stick around. There is a post-credit scene as well, in case you're interested. And I am kind of looking forward to the next one, mainly because I do love Kong as well, and I like the idea of the two of them being in the same movie. Plus, it was filmed here in my hometown, so yeah, I kind of want to see it, like, you know, to spot places I know. But as for Godzilla 2 King of the Monsters, oh boy, yeah, I don't ever want to see this movie again, and I'm gonna give Godzilla 2 appropriately a 2 out of 10. Yeah, truly, this film was way worse than I had expected, and my expectations were already pretty low. Alrighty, so if you have had to endure Godzilla 2 King of the Monsters, let me know what you thought of it. And hey, look, if you did like the film, yeah, look, totally cool. And let me know what you actually liked about it. So fire away, drop me some comments either here, Facebook, or Twitter. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies, and I would love to talk about movies with you. Catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.